Okay, so this is how to do it. This is what we would call a two-step equation. The way to solve two-step equations is to think about the end goal. So the end goal of doing all of this is to get A alone on one side of the equation with everything else on the opposite side of the equation. That is the goal. We want to get A by itself. We want to isolate A. And the tools that are available to us in order to isolate A are addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division. Keeping in mind that whatever operation we choose, we have to do that operation to the entire side. All right, so that doesn't make too big of a deal when it comes to addition or subtraction, but that becomes very important as it comes to multiplication or division. So for example, let's say you notice here that we have 19A and you know that that is 19 times A. And you say, I'm going to use division to get rid of this 19 times A. Well, the way that if you're going to use division in this step, you have to divide the entire right side. Right? You have to divide the entire right side by 19. Okay, and then using reciprocity, you would also have to divide the entire left side by 19. Now, if we do that, we see that what will happen is that the 19 will cancel out here like this. So these will cancel out. But then what we're going to be left with is 400 over 19 on the left, but then we still have 20 19ths minus 1A. So the 19 over the 19, these 19s cancel, and we're just left with 1A, which is just A. But then this does not cancel. Okay, so this is what we would get if we were to start with division. So we can do that, but if you notice, going from the first step to the second step, that hasn't really helped us as much as perhaps we want to. So we can do this and we can actually solve it this way, but perhaps this isn't the best way of going about it. So let's look at another option. So in addition to the 19 being multiplied by A, the other thing that's happening to the A is we are subtracting this 19A from 20. All right, so we also have this 20 in the mix here. And again, you can think about this in terms of the commutative property. So if you wanted to rewrite this, you could rewrite this as negative 19A plus 20. And of course, that's still going to be equal to 400. So just using the commutative property to switch these terms around, you see that I have a positive 20 that's being added to my minus 19A or my negative 19A. And so rewriting it in that fashion, you see that we also have the option to use subtraction here. We can subtract to get rid of this 20. So if we were to subtract 20 from both sides, it would look like this. So we can subtract 20 here, and we can subtract 20 from here. This is solving it vertically. And doing so gives us the following. So on the left, we have 400 minus 20. That gives us 380. And that is equal to, so negative 19A just comes down. So this is minus 19A. And then plus 20 minus 20 is 0. So this is like saying plus 0. But of course, we know the plus 0 is nothing. So this is 380 is equal to negative 19A. All right, so adding 20 to both sides gets rid of this. Excuse me, not adding, but subtracting 20 from both sides gets rid of this 20 and leaves us with 19A. So now you see how we are closer. We are one step closer to isolating A. Okay, so now the next step is to think how we thought in the previous way that we tried to solve it. So I see that this is a negative 19 times A. And I know that the complement to multiplication is division. So my next step here will be to divide both sides in a way that I will get rid of the thing that is attached by multiplication to A. And the thing that is attached by multiplication to A is negative 19. So to get rid of a negative 19 being multiplied by A, I want to divide both sides by negative 19. And the key here is that we're dividing not just by 19, but we're dividing by negative 19 on both sides, so that the negative 19, that's the coefficient that's being multiplied by A, will cancel out. All right, so we'll divide both sides by negative 19. And we see that on the right side, negative 19 divided by negative 19, anything divided by itself is 1. So negative 19 divided by negative 19 is 1. So 1 times A is just A. All right, so 1 times A is just A. And that leaves us with that. And then on this side, we have 380 divided by negative 19. And we see that you should recognize that 19 is actually a factor of 38. 19 doubled is 38. So negative 19 going into 380 leaves us with a negative 20. And that is our answer for A. All right. So this same problem, I've solved it this way. I've solved it vertically. So we started with by subtracting 20 from both sides. So we just used the commutative property to rearrange these terms. And then after I subtracted 20 from both sides, I had 19a is equal to 380. The negative 19a is equal to 380. Divide both sides by negative 19, and we get that a is equal to negative 20. Okay, so another way that we can solve this same problem is to solve it horizontally. So we'll do that very quickly. Okay, same problem. 400 is equal to 20 minus 19a. Here, I want to use the commutative property to rearrange the right side. So I'll write this as 400 is equal to negative 19a plus 20. Again, remember the key step with the commutative property is that the signs have to stay the same. You're just changing the position. So this is minus 19a. It still has to be minus 19a when you rearrange the terms. This is a positive 20. It still has to be a positive 20 when you rearrange the terms. Okay, so now that you have that, you see that the 20 is being added to this negative 19a. And so you see that we can use the complement of addition to get rid of it. The complement of addition is subtraction. So we can subtract 20 from both sides. And so that would look something like this. So we're going to have 400 minus 20 is equal to negative 19a plus 20 minus 20. All right, so we subtract 20 from both sides, and then we simplify. 400 minus 20 is 380, and that's equal to negative 19a plus 20 minus 20 is 0. So this is 20 minus 20. So again, that's 0. So you can add the plus 20 if you need to, or you can add the plus 0 if you need to, or you can just leave it out. So this is 380 is equal to negative 19a. And then again, noticing that we have a negative 19a, that means negative 19 times a. So that's multiplication. And the complement of multiplication is division. So we can divide both sides by negative 19. So this would be 380 divided by negative 19 is equal to negative 19a divided by negative 19. This is the exact same step that we did here. I'm just doing it horizontally this time instead of vertically. So whichever way you prefer. So again, 380 divided by negative 19 is negative 20. So negative 20 is equal to negative 19 negative 19a divided by negative 19. The negative 19s cancel out, and we're left with a. And that's our final answer. So that is how you do it. These are what we call two-step equations. The first step here was subtraction. The second step here was division. All right. So we subtract by what is being added to our variable expression, and then we divide by what is being multiplied by our variable expression. So these are two-step equations. So any two-step equation like this, you can basically use this method to solve it. So you either add or subtract depending on what number is here, and then you would either multiply or divide depending on what's happening to the variable. All right, two-step equations, that's how to do it.